topic today, as you guys know, is monetizing users on the internet. And so without further ado, we have Greg Gottsman, who is the managing director at Madrona. And Greg, show us the money.
We're playing our clip here.
Okay.
We're going to have some fun, hopefully.
Rod, you just tell me, what can I do for you?
It's very personal.
What can I do for you, Rod? You just tell me, what can I do for you?
It's a very personal, very important thing. Are you ready, Jeff?
I'm ready.
Just want to make sure you're ready, brother. Here it is. Show me the money.
Show you the money.
Oh, no, you can do better than that, Jerry. I want you to say it what you put me in, brother. Hey, I got Bob Sugar on the other line. I better hear you say it.
No. Show you the money.
Not show you. Show me the money.
Show me the money.
Yeah. Louder.
Show me the money.
That's it, brother, but you got to yell.
Show me the money.
I need to feel you, Jerry.
Show me the money.
Jerry, you better yell. Show me the money. Show me the money. You love this black man. I love the black man. Show me the money. I love black people. I love black people. What you gonna do, Jerry? Show me the money. Congratulations, you're still my agent.
All right. The topic is Show Me the Money. I think we have an incredible panel. Before we start, just thank you to Ty. It's, I think, one of the great, organizations in our ecosystem here, and that's, it's a testament to, what Ty is, the quality of the panelists, and then also the quality of the folks that show up for these. So it's a, it's an honor to be moderating this panel. So before we do quick introductions, and I'll ask folks to say a couple words about themselves and their company. The goal for today is to, can everyone hear me, by the way? Okay. Okay, good acoustics, so you can hear me, John. That's good. I'm glad that speaking loud enough for the 2-inch. So the goal for today is to have a discussion. I've been, frankly, I think for all the panelists and for myself, if we're not interested in what we're saying or this sort of discussion, I don't think you guys are going to be interested. So we're going to hopefully dig in on some of these topics, and I want it to be very interactive. So we have theoretically sort of the first 45 minutes where we're going to ask questions, and then at the end Q&A, we're going to throw that out the window. If you have questions in the middle, just raise your hand, and let's just let's ask the questions as we go. I don't want to have to cold call anyone, so just feel free to. That doesn't mean, by the way, that that just because your hand's up or you want to say something that we may be sort of on another tangent, but we'll try to get to most questions if we can, right? And we'll try to do it in real time. I'm going to ask the panelists to ask questions of one another, and that's sort of going to be the way we're going to have this sort of the next hour 15 minutes. So is that right? All right. So the other thing I'll say is that the way, just to give you sort of a framework for how we want to do this, we decided that it would be most useful as a group. We decided it would be most useful if we sort of dug in on each of these great CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs, on their individual companies and their experiences in those companies, as opposed to talking at a high level about things that you could go read in a book. So this is going to be really focusing on on Joe, founder of PayScale. What are the issues he faced? What are the insights he learned? What are the hard questions that he had to answer? And that's sort of going to be, we're going to really dig in on Joe, try to make him uncomfortable, and then move and try to make someone else uncomfortable, just with some good hard questions about sort of around monetization and how these companies made money. Make sense? Okay. So, Reggie, do you want to kick it off and say just a couple words about you, your background, and the company and that you're sort of representing today?
Sure, Greg. So my name is Reggie Brown. I'm currently CEO of a company called All Property Management. We're a lead generation company that matches property owners and property managers. It's a national company. We're the largest of our kind in the U.S. right now. A couple of years before, I was involved in another successful lead generation company called All Star Directories, and pretty much the same ownership group in both of them. And we sold that business in 2005, I believe, to Austin Ventures. Prior to that, I had a little stint with Microsoft for about 8 years, and I was in finance and marketing there, and then I spent the previous 10 or so years in the media industry in different ways. I ran a radio station, and I was CFO of a publishing group and that kind of thing. So I've been chasing money in different ways in different industries for a while.
Great. Satbir has the distinction of being one of those CEOs that turned down money from us, so we're going to try to make him especially uncomfortable. But we're really lucky to have Satbir here today.
Right, I'm Satbir. I run DataSphere Technologies. DataSphere Technologies is focused in local media. We work with local media companies and help them make more money by leveraging their existing long-tail content and connecting them with the Yellow Page advertisers. And we'll dig more into that as we go into it. Prior to DataSphere, I was at Amazon for 8 years, and I built their IMDb.com business right after Amazon acquired it, which was a lot of fun. And actually had a chance to interact with the agent of Tom Cruise for one of his movies promoted. And I think for people who are from India, I also had a chance to speak with Amir Khan when he was trying to nominate his movie Lagan for Oscars, so that was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And then I ran all of Amazon's worldwide marketing. And prior to that, I was a consultant with McKinsey & Company, and prior to that, I was just garnering all the degrees in school, and they decided to push me out, so I took it the real one.
Great. Joe?
Hi, I'm Joe Giordano, founder of Payscale.com. Payscale empowers employees by allowing them to go online, put in a job profile, how much they make, and compare their salary and see whether they're underpaid. So it's a very popular website. People are interested in that kind of information. And then we sell aggregate data to HR departments and companies. That's how we generate most of our revenue. We'll talk a lot about all that. Prior to Payscale, I was at Drugstore.com as an early team member there. And prior to Drugstore.com, I was in the Bay Area for a couple of years where I worked on developing, I can actually say the original iPhone. It was a company called Infogear Technology Corporation that had the original iPhone application for a phone you would sit on your kitchen counter and interact with. So it was 1996, it was a little early. And before that, MSN 1.0, kind of when I was in the R&D group at Microsoft, was kind of my first online endeavor. So I had a lot of online experience.
So I'm just a little bit different from these guys. About 2 years ago, moved the family, lock, stock, and barrel to India. So I live in India now, have been for the last 2 years. And over the last 2 years, invested in startups in India. The ecosystem there is really starting to come together and take off. I do a TV show called Super Angels, which features 20 startups. They come pitch, and at the end of it, hopefully we'll fund one. But I'm also in the process of starting up my own company, and hopefully 6 months from now, I can say I'm CEO of. Thanks.
I'm John Temple. I'm co-founder and former chief operating officer of A Place for Mom. We're a national elder care referral service. We help families find care for their aging loved ones. They find nursing homes, assisted living, retirement, home care, hospice, the full spectrum. We founded the company in 2000. We've got about 650 people in our national in scope. And prior to that, I was also at Microsoft. Spent a decade there. First 5 years in the financial analysis group, actually working with Reggie at one point. And then the next 5 years in product management, working on Windows products and also MSN Wireless and Litchium bit too early.
So great panel, and again, hopefully we'll get a chance to dig into each one of some different things with each one of these guys. So why don't we start with PayScale? I think that's an accessible business, and focus on Joe for a little bit. So tell us sort of what remind everyone what PayScale is and what the value proposition is to the customer, and then we'll ask some questions.
Yeah, PayScale is fundamentally about leveraging the potential of collecting an enormous amount of data directly from users on the internet using the distribution mechanisms of the internet, and then being able to create value from that data and turn around and sell it in many ways. In fact, there's a multitude of ways. Every day we come up with new ways, but we have to focus. As we sell to HR departments that are inside companies looking to gauge what the market is for particular jobs, their departments, and ultimately one of their major capital expenses of their business is payroll. And so the model is interesting in that this consumer engine that only works if you're providing individuals with something of value in return, allows us to collect an enormous amount of very detailed data on individuals' jobs, how much they make, where they work, what their education degrees were, experience, skills, you name it. If it seems correlated to compensation and where you stand in your job and your career, they'll give it to us if we ask for it. And then we were able to, using technology and processing power of the computer systems, to model that data, analyze it, and produce accurate trend reports on compensation that companies will pay for. As we've created a SaaS tool that companies subscribe to compensation data from PayScale and use it every year to benchmark how much they ought to be paying employees.
So just give people a sense of size. How many profiles roughly do you use PayScale in terms of compensation profiles?
Yeah, we have about 24 million individuals that input complete job profiles. Today we get about 6 million visitors a month on the consumer side of the website, people interested in compensation data. We've got millions of web pages that publish compensation data, leveraging SEO and search trends. And on the business side, we have a sales team of about 35 growing to 50 inside sales reps calling on HR companies and selling our services and our data to companies for, we had a $100,000 deal recently, and on the average deal size is upwards of $20,000.